Today it's time for what should be a ridiculous game of professional StarCraft 2. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Thunderbird, playing with the blue Protoss probes. This man is known for his disgusting and very cheesy strategies. I know a lot of you are massive fans, and that includes myself as well. We're looking inside of the main base of Has. His opponent though, playing with the red Zerg drones, likewise extremely creative when it comes to the strategies that he likes to employ. We have none other than CatZ. Alrighty, so this game was played a couple of months ago during the group stages of Nation Wars. Now, a few days back, I posted a video with what I thought was my personal favorite game of 2019. A sick match of Zerg versus Zerg between Cyril and Sue. However, I saw a couple of people comment in the comment section that apparently this game right here is even better. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm ready for it. I really want to see what this game brings. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. Both of these players like playing a little bit more aggressively, okay? Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that. I don't think we're going to see our conventional standard macro game. CatZ, though, is deciding to go for a drone scout. That's a little bit... Oh, I think I know what's going on here. Yeah, he's trying to plant down a hatchery in his opponent's natural. Moving that drone around just a little bit because he wanted to get the 300 minerals to plant down the proxy hatch in his opponent's base. Now, this is one of those things that can throw a Protoss player completely off, right? He wanted to go for the Nexus on the low ground, won't be able to pull something like that off. Probably wants to start with the Zealot. There it is. The Zealot indeed will be made. And actually, you know what? He decided to pull a couple of probes, then thought better of it. Or better of it, rather. He's now attacking it with only 3 of those workers. Probe in the meantime, though. Moving over to the northern section of the map. Has decided that he wants to put up a pylon right over here. Very close to the main base there of the Zerg. And I think this pretty much always has to be like a Proxy Stargate, right? As a follow-up. So obviously if you go for the Proxy Hatch, Cybercore is going to be much faster. And because of that, we will very likely see the Stargate coming up, indeed, in the northern section here very early on already as well. Normally you won't see the very first Oracle until like... 4 minutes at the very soonest. This time around, or 4 minutes that is on the Zerg side of the map. This time around, I think it's going to be out quite a little bit quicker. And we'll see what CatZ thinks of this style. I'm assuming he's going to cancel the hatch. You don't necessarily have to. Yeah, okay, he is going to cancel the hatch. Sometimes you can actually keep it alive and, because of, like, the kill, the creep actually takes a little while longer once again to dissipate. But he wants to now use this drone to scout around inside of the main base and figure out what's happening. Now, ooh, okay, this is the Has threat right over here. Oh, God, I love this. So most people, right, yeah, you can go for a Proxy Stargate. That's not all too awkward, right? This happens quite regularly. So it is going to be, it is indeed going to be that Oracle. He has already planted down another pylon very close to the third base here of CatZ. Now, there's still no Nexus. I also don't see like a... Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I don't see like a forge. So it has to be shield batteries. These Zerglings, though, they're looking around. CatZ knows that his opponent is very capable of playing the cheesy styles. Decides to only send 2 Zerglings in that direction. But they are not gonna check in a location that is extremely uncommon. In the meantime, Has also chrono boosted out 2 of these adepts. He's gonna keep the Zerg player busy with those. I mean, Zergling speed obviously is quite late as well because of that Proxy Hatch. So this is actually gonna be able to do quite a bit of damage. There we go, no Spore Crawler inside of that main base whatsoever. And he can actually heal up right here, close to the shield battery. A little bit of missed target firing actually by Has, but he can heal up right there, some of his units. Close to that shield battery. That is on the low ground. In the meantime, Adepts decide to shade towards the low ground as well. They're going to be able to continue working on a bunch of these Zerglings. Zerglings without speed really suck, man. Look at that. Like, he's gonna finally finish up Link speed, but that is so much damage that has already been dealt. Adepts once again shade back towards the main base. One of them a little bit low in shield. Doesn't matter. I mean, these Zerglings, yeah, I was gonna say, these Zerglings are all gonna die if you keep moving in that direction. Okay. So I think eventually, though, yeah, this has done a lot of damage. I think eventually this will all be cleaned up, right? So how many workers were killed here in total? 6 workers, 18 Zerglings. Now, obviously, that's a very favorable trade. You also got to keep in mind, like, the cost of canceling that hatchery. And then, did he actually keep the drone alive? Did the drone get out? I guess one of those drones that died was probably the one that scouted as well. So only really a handful of workers going down there in the grand scheme of things. But you got to keep in mind that everything is slowed down so much when you do go for the Proxy Hatch. Has following this up very, very nicely. Now, what exactly is going to be his next move? Because he still does have that shield battery. He also actually now forced the council on the third base of Zerg. So, if he just continues chrono boosting, and I think this is where Has is scariest, right? If he just continues chrono boosting probes, he's going to be in a really, really good spot. Triple Oracle. Very common, of course. Especially when out a lot of queens available. He's just going to zap away at a lot of these drones. Now, it looks like, ooh, 2 oracles going down there in the grand scheme of things. I think actually in this scenario, that's not too big of a deal. I mean, ideally you keep them alive. But I don't think it's necessarily that big of a deal considering he already is so very far ahead. You don't have to take the most favorable traits to continue growing that advantage. Eventually though, the aggression over here will be shut down. I say that as Has still has that probe hanging out over there. CatZ can't see this area. Oh my god, he's being run around right now. Okay, he will finally find out where that Stargate exactly was located. Oracle can once again activate its pulsar beams and continue zapping away right here at these units as well. Okay, so it is going to be the Glaives upgrade right there for the Adepts from the Protoss player. But as long as he... Okay, so this is what I was trying to say earlier. As long as he just keeps playing the macro game right now, he's very, very far ahead. And I think that's what some of these Protoss players separate themselves... Or how some of the Protoss players that like to cheese separate themselves from the others. You all know that guy, right? You probably have that friend who loves to go for the cheesy builds on the ladder, right? However, as soon as he plays against someone competent, he just sort of gets the cheese held and then it's game over, right? Has is kind of like the polar opposite of that. He's very good at playing the game in a macro state, but he loves cheesing. So basically what that means, right, is he obtains an advantage and then just simply pulls ahead and then transitions into a macro game. Well, most of the time. Right now, though, gotta be honest with you, these Glaive Adepts can deal a heck of a lot of damage. Adepts right now shading towards the main base. Keep in mind, though, these Zerglings do have +1 melee. +1 melee is huge. Actually, Queens are now loaded up inside of an Overlord as well. There's Banelings apparently morphing in here too. +1 Zerglings are significantly better. Oh my god, what is going on? He's Queen dropping his own third base. +1 Zerglings are so much better when it comes to dealing with Adepts than unupgraded Zerglings. These Adepts do have Glaives, and there's also that shield battery, obviously. Shield battery right now, though, out of energy. Drones have to run inside of the main as well, because the Zerglings are not going to be able to surround them very easily over there. Attacks his own units just for a second. The Banelings, though, do indeed roll in. And while a lot of damage has been dealt, I'm liking this situation for Has quite a bit more. Now, obviously, he's losing a ton of Adepts too, right? He also had his third base tonight, so he's not going to be able to transition nearly as easily. By the way, oh my god, I've never seen that before. Are you seeing this? There's so much to unpack in this game. First off, the really creative positioning of these structures here. I love it. But then secondly, CatZ is actually saving his drones by loading them into an Overlord. Rather than running them away and leaving them vulnerable, he actually loaded a bunch of them inside of an Overlord and then kept them alive in the natural. That's pretty insane. Okay, so double Dropper Lords right now available as well. Protoss cannot see what is inside of these bad boys, so he can just simply, I guess, send whatever across the map. He could go for like Baneling drops, he could go for Zergling drops. In this case, it is gonna be Queen drops instead. Alright, so third base will be acquired once again by Has, but judging by the amount of units here, well, I mean, there's actually a lot of force fields available too. Yeah, judging by the amount of units though, I don't think the third base can really stay alive here. Only just now is when we see a fort. Blink is coming up as well. Both players really still sitting at tier 1 units here. Okay, so the Banelings are moving forward. Queens are inside of those Overlords. So it's 8 queens in total. Decent wrap around here, but I mean, drop the queens, load up the Banes. Drop the queens, load up the Banes. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Oh my god, he's dropping the units. Right, he's dropping the Banelings right there on top of all of those force-fielded sentries. Ridiculous move there by CatZ, who's now going to be able to get a free picking right there on that third base. Still though, queens obviously can't really get away very easily. We do now see the Overlords pooping a little bit of creep here as well. And in the meantime, by the way, while all of this is going on, he is droning up behind this. Okay, so the third base falls. I think the queens need to get on home, man. I don't think you really want to stick around here for too long. As long as Protoss keeps warping in, he's going to be in a decent enough position. I think it's time to head on back, CatZ. You don't want to overstay your welcome. Losing 8 queens here would be a disaster. Oh, well, he's gonna try. Blink obviously is now available, right? So Has can certainly do a lot of damage here too, but can he leave his own natural? That's the question. Man, Baneling drops. It's just like High Templar drops. So underrated, right? I talked about that in a recent video. High Templar drops are incredible. That was a sick game between special and mana. So ridiculously helpful. Yet we don't see it that often. Now Blink is very helpful here. That concave though for Zerg is just much nicer. By the way, one sneaky Overlord loaded up with 4 Banelings. These Banelings are looking for a connection inside of that mineral line. Transfuses are coming down as well. Oh! Has notices it just in time. He was actually stacking up all of his probes. Could have been a disaster. I think it will probably be fine right now. Now, yeah, 4 queens apparently now sacrifice themselves for the swarm as one of them tries to make a beeline. Oh, he drops him! And I've never seen that before. He sacrificed not a queen. Okay, eventually it doesn't matter. Brenda, no, what are you doing here? But he dropped 1 queen out to transfuse the Overlord balloon. It didn't quite happen. It didn't quite happen, but that was a sexy move nonetheless. Okay, so you know what? Protoss is mining out his bases though. There's really not that much mining anymore here for the Protoss player. He once again reacquires the third. Would have loved to see a creep tumor over there because there's actually no detection to kill those tumors. Didn't quite happen here either. Question is though, yeah, this is a scary amount of Protoss. Question is there not actually just a little bit too much right now for the Protoss player? Ooh, good Baneling connection there as well. Hydras are coming up here. We do see a few spine crawlers building, but the Adepts obviously can just simply shade away from that. We now also see the drones pulled off the mineral line. Spines, though, will be able to deal with most of this. Reinforcing Zerglings are likely going to be able to pick up most of these Adepts as well. This is a lot of damage that's being dealt. Third base is being reacquired. I think that Zerg should be able to hold on here. Still though, this is a tremendous amount of workers going down here. 18 drones so far. I think a couple more will probably fall as well. And while all of the Stalkers will also be picked off, this is still so much damage that's being done here. He's actually going to be able to recall 2 of them as well. Actually, I think it was maybe only 1. But fair enough, right? Like, that was a very good amount of damage. Imagine if there was 1 additional tumor over here, and it would have, like, blocked the third base. This game would have looked very different if this was turned into a 2-base Protoss all-in. Right now, since Protoss has, like, a third base to fall back to, I think that he's actually in a pretty good position. Actually positioning all of his units right now on top of that vision that CatZ has of the creep tumor. Once again, though, Overlord being loaded up with a couple of units. It's gonna drop some Zerglings over near that mineral line in the natural. Maybe he wants to poke here at the front. I don't think it's gonna happen, though. There's no way, CatZ. That Protoss army is huge. Actually, you know what? We've gotten to the point in the game where you don't even have to have anything inside of that Overlord. Just having an empty Overlord already would potentially cause all of these probes to scatter, because he knows that there might be the potential for like a Baneling drop after that as well. Well, a bunch of Zerglings sacrifice themselves at the front. Overlord likely will be picked off here as well. I think Has is in a very good spot. Now, obviously, Zerg has the advantage of being able to make many workers all at once, and that's exactly what CatZ has been doing here. He once again resaturated his bases. He's at a lair. He's going to be able to start building that Hydra count up quite nicely here as well. Hydras basically deal with all Gateway units really quite nicely, other than like, well, I mean, like High Templar, right? Like, they're really bad against High Templar, but technically Gateway units, not quite though what I meant. Against like Stalker, Zealot, Adept-based armies, they aren't the worst. They aren't terrible, right? Especially Hydroling Bane can deal with like Gateway-based forces super smoothly. Does he already have the ranged upgrade? He doesn't yet, so he really should try and get both of those upgrades done. Question is, though, is that gonna be done in time? Has is currently making a move across the map. He's going up towards the 4th Nexus as well. He's playing the macro game now. After playing so cheesy early on, he's transitioning towards the macro game while still being very, very aggressive. Good Blink Stalker micro though, couple of spines helping out as well. Force fields separate a few of the Hydras there from the main Zerg ball. Queen's desperately trying to transfuse and keep everything alive, but I think there might just be a little bit too much. That Stalker Blink just detonated so many of those Banelings that CatZ was trying to save. Beautiful move there by Has. And he is indeed the one who obtains the victory. What an amazing game. That was so much to unpack there, right? I mean, the Proxy Hatchery into Proxy Stargate, and then those shield batteries as well. Then another follow-up with the Adepts that were essentially warped in over at the third base there of the Zerg without like a warp prism, right? Once again, having a few shield batteries to fall back to. Then the Zergling drops, the Baneling drops, the Queen's moving to the other side of the map. The Queen dropped there as well. The Transfuse on that Overlord balloon on the retreat. The Queen sacrificing themselves, trying to get a few of them out of there. Insane game. I really hope that you enjoyed watching. If you did. Oh, and also, by the way, that Blink Stalker right there at the very end, right? Where he soaked up a couple of Banelings. That was a really sweet move as well. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. Special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for all of your generosity. And of course, since this is my very first upload in 2020, I wanted to wish you all a very happy new year. For now, though, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile alright. And I will see you once again in the next one.